goods, and I love fresh produce. Love, love, love it, especially when it comes from a farmer's market. So recently, I was talking to someone here in glorious Western Michigan about the farmer's market that's typically held on Saturdays. So when the weather is warm, just imagine all of these vendors, like in the Hallmark movies, selling apples and carrots and cherries and asparagus and the special dried garlic and bracelets and honey and cookies, and the list goes on. And the vast majority of the vendors there, this is their full-time business, or maybe it's a bit of a side hustle. But you can count on every Saturday, there's all of these vendors present at this outdoors farmer market. Well, Michigan, not sure if you knew this or not, but it does get a little cold, right? It gets snow. It's definitely a winter wonderland type state. But the farmer's market's smart. They have an indoor market. So the farmer's market is available all year long because I know, because I'm smart. I like research. I looked it up. They're open on Saturdays. So I was talking to someone and I said, hey, I plan on going to the farmer's market on Saturday. I don't know, you want to go? Is there anything I can get you? And they immediately just went off on me and said, what are you talking about? That's done. There's no farmer's market. It's now, fall, it's winter. It's like, okay. So, which may seem very minute or just trivial. In reality, it's a nice red flag and an example of gaslighting. The farmer's market is not dependent on the sun. It's not dependent on it being spring or winter or summer. The farmer's market is available all year round. The hours may be a little different. Maybe indoors when it's cold and outdoors when it's warm. But it's always out there. I could have shown this person the website. I could have offered to even take them there. But I have learned, as I'm here to share with you today on Kizzy Unfiltered, when it comes to narcissists and narcissist behaviors, you never, ever will win trying to debate or show receipts or show any evidence. Instead, I'm here to show you and provide examples from my personal life of different flags to look for, because you have to make the following decision when it comes to a narcissist. Whether this person is a coworker, your boss, your husband, your wife, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. I mean, if it's you, you're not gonna think it's you. But you never know. And that is, there's this key decision you have to make. What are you, me, what are we going to do? Are you going to allow them to remain in your life? Are you going to use different techniques such as gray rocking, basically kind of ignoring, minimizing their response? When keep them in your life, cut them out, keep them, cut them out. What are you going to do? Given I am here to show you and share with you more flags from narcissists. It's really important to talk about this topic here on Kizzy Unfiltered. It's something that you can learn all about on various YouTube channels, on some amazing people on Instagram. And it's an area that we need to talk more about. And the reason for it is because it's confusing, it's stressful, it's exhausting, and it is not something a person is born with. This is not genetic, it's formed. And many narcissists don't know they're narcissists, and they don't really get help. There are some who do get help. There are communities for people who are interested in getting help. I'm here, especially for those who have endured narcissism. You are enduring it, or maybe you don't even know what you're going through. So if you've ever heard this, where someone starts to volunteer things for you. Oh, you're going to host the party. Oh, here, I bought this. This would look really great at your place or in your office or in your car or with your kid or what may have you. When people start to cross your boundaries, especially in the form of giving you different things with showing up unexpectedly, or maybe you have a boundary in place around a topic that you have stated that you're uncomfortable discussing, that's definitely a flag. And again, just want to interject with, there is an actual diagnosis, a clinical diagnosis for narcissism. So I am by no means suggesting that these things are leading to a clinical diagnosis. I am suggesting that if you come across people that display any of these red flags, yeah, may not be the ideal person to want to spend time with. Depends how much you love yourself. So continuing on here in Kizzy Unfiltered, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, review the channel. Provide that feedback, y'all. My hair is popping today for people who can see it. Oh my goodness, I'm having some good hair days. So if you ever come across those things where people are just blatantly disrespecting your boundaries, it's a flag. People who have respect for themselves and respect for you, they're not going to cross your boundaries. Anytime somebody uses something that happened to them as this crutch, hear me out. We've all had something happen. It could be something horrendous like rape. It could be incest. It could be the death of a family. It could be you're given up for adoption at 6 months, like yours truly. It could be, it could be all of these different things. It could be maybe you, both of your parents are drug addicts. We all have had some type of turmoil, stress, or obstacle in our life. Various narcissists will use that over and over and over and over again because narcissists want attention. They want to be in the limelight because at the end of the day, they're super insecure. And they love people who have a lot of light and who like to give, or also who are super insecure and want to help save them. If I could just save them, you don't understand. Their parents weren't there for them when they were growing up. That's why they're 37, working a third shift job, and don't have a car, and no self-respect. And so when they use this thing, it could be the death of a family member, it could be how they grew up, it could be anything of that nature. And it's like, it comes up fast. Like maybe you've only known them for a little bit, or you went on a date with them, and first date, they're telling you this like, woe is me story. And if you're like me, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they told me this. They must like me. Or, that's how I used to think. No, I said a big old red flag, a big old red flag. Another one is they have these thoughts, grandiose thoughts like, oh, I'm going to be the next big rapper or this amazing artist, or you don't understand, you need to stick with me because I have this $1 million idea. And all of these like things they're putting out there are really horrible. Like they don't have artistic skills. They've never run a business in their life. They've never had a job. You still are wondering how they even pay their bills. You may not even know where they live. These are all red flags. And I laugh because I would fall for this. And this is why I'm sharing this, because I had no idea. I had no idea about narcissism, even though I'm like a PhD in psychology, it's in industrial organizational psychology. I don't recall like studying psychology, maybe because I was drinking too much in undergrad. I don't know, but this is a topic that everyone needs to be aware of. Because what happens is we make excuses. Oh, you don't understand. They're just like that. They're just hypercritical. What? Oh, yeah, you got to give them a chance. Like, it's hard to get a job right now. We're in a recession. I'm sorry. What? It's like, instead, we should encourage them to change. But as a society, it's we all have to change. Why? Why? That's why it's key when you run across these flags. Do you stay? Do you go? Do you try and minimize it? Gray rocking. Only you can decide. I know as an entrepreneur, especially in my early days, I attracted a lot of narcissists. I mean, given I was the owner, it was easier to help some people find magic elsewhere. But if that's not the case, it puts you in this position of, oh my gosh, stress and turmoil. So I just want to emphasize that this whole topic around narcissism is not unique to just our significant others and family. It also hits the employment area. Another big red flag with narcissists, especially like malignant narcissists, violence, abuse, name calling, then they're quick to, oh, no, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. And then they act ridiculous when you call them out. They may throw themselves on the floor. They may cry. They may beg you not to leave. They may say, oh, I'm going to end my life if you leave. Or they may even twist it. Like, see, this is what happened. You shouldn't do this to me. Now look at how I react. They're gaslighting. These type of narcissists are extremely scary because they often are those who are responsible for domestic violence and for acts of violence. So anytime you see the tiniest of signs, you got to get out. Workplace, romantic, get out. It's not going to end well. You're not going to be able to change them. It's not that type of situation. Most narcissists never change. They never change. What makes you any different? Because they said you're different? They like to control. That's what a person does when they're insecure. They control. And it's powerful to control another person, to break that person down, and then to do what a lot of narcissists do: cheat, and cheat. They love to commit acts of infidelity all the time. All of the time. If I didn't say it, I'm going to say it again. All the time. They do these things. This is not unique to men, women, or how one may want to define themselves. Across the board, this is something that's very common with them. Any of these flags that you come across are serious. This is not something for discussion. This is not about poll your friends. It's about your self-worth and love. I have found, as a person who didn't have much self-worth and love, people who are raised to have self-worth, love, and confidence, which is the greatest gift you can ever give your children. You can give people who you lead, you can give your friends, you can help with your family members. People who have that, chances are not with a narcissist, because they're not going to put up with it. They're not going to put up with the gaslighting, crossing boundaries, any kind of signs of disrespect or potential abuse. They're not going to put up with it. or a person who's super self-centered and all they do is talk about themselves and all their accolades and send you different text messages of different activities they've been involved in because they want your attention. They're not going to be involved in that. But for those of you who maybe you were how I was, or you're an empath, we attract them like a moth to a flame. They smell us out. Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea. Often it's due to being raised by a narcissist, or maybe a family member who dated narcissist. And so it becomes the norm to support a narcissist and being empathic. You want to love and hold and help and all of those things. In other words, I was so insecure. I was like, what do you need? What can I do for you? And I would take on what they liked and what they did. I didn't know who I was. And that's not good. A person who's secure and confident, they don't do that. I don't do that anymore. So recognizing these flags and early is vital. This is not unique to the United States. I promise you, people act like this across the globe. They may be excused more often, depending on the cultural setup of that particular country or that religion or that region, but it happens all over. So you have to ask yourself once again, are you gonna stay? You're gonna go? You're gonna try to ignore? I am in a place now where this beauty is first. So I have cut out that noise, is what I call it. I've cut it out. And in a very classy way, I do have a way with that. I'm not the type that I'm just gonna like stop following you on Instagram. But if somebody's violent, potentially violent, oh, hell yeah, I am. But there are ways, if you can, to separate yourself from the narcissist. If you are co-parenting with a narcissist, please get help. Please get in a support group. Please watch as much YouTube on co-parenting with a narcissist as possible. Because, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. If you have parents or a parent who's narcissist or siblings, it's up to you what you want to do. I choose me. I get rid of the noise. And as soon as I see a flag, it's over. Probably almost 2 years ago, I was on this dating app. And this gentleman had this like pristine, like profile that was just like drawing me in. It's like, I'm 5'9" or 5'10", I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I'm looking for a smart woman. Like all of these things that, remember 2 years ago, so I'm a little different. But I was like, oh, really? Oh my God. Okay, that's perfect. I'm 5'5". I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. And I was really drawn in and I like reached out to the person. I think I was on like Coffee Meets Bagel. And the person had, I think they had like asked some questions, maybe in the profile or as we were messaging, like as this way to like generate conversation. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like you have these prearranged questions instead of just like, what's up? What are you doing? What, was getting rid of all that awkwardness. So I answered the questions and I believe I asked him a question. No response to anything I said. Red flag. When you're talking to somebody and they're not asking you questions, they're not engaging with you, and all they're doing is talking about themselves, red flag. Narcissist. Potentially. Remember, not a clinical diagnosis right here. Then he came back with all of these like answers. It was like he answered the questions that he put on the profile for us to answer. And his answers were like so cliche and like really off-putting. So I basically was like, okay, cool. I don't really see us as compatible. Because I just knew based on his answers, I was like, oh, what is going on? And he proceeded to like attack me on Coffee Meets Bagel. Like, I don't even know why I wasted my time. Wasted your time. This has been like maybe a 3-minute exchange. Like that's being like real liberal at the time, right? On Coffee Meets Bagel. So I was like, oh my goodness, I dodged a bullet, because if he's responding like this based on an exchange and we've never even met in person, then what happens when you meet them? The flag doesn't get smaller. The flag gets bigger and the behaviors become more egregious. So maybe an hour or two later, he writes me again as if nothing happened. Another sign of narcissism. They try and play it off. They don't even talk about it. They don't tap into emotions. They don't recognize your emotion. And he proceeded as if like we're going to continue talking, and eventually he's going to take me out on a date, or we're going to meet for coffee or something. I'm sorry, what? No. So please, my amazing listeners here at Kizzy Unfiltered, protect yourselves. Please, please. Anytime you see in the tiniest, it could be like a blush pink, just run away if you can. If you have to endure it, please get some support. Because this will eat at you and they will try to destroy you. I know firsthand. I know too well. And I don't want you to go through what I had to go through. I'm grateful for being on the other side, but man, life was not very good. It was not good at all for many, many years. So my amazing, amazing listeners and viewers, please subscribe, hit the notification button, share, follow, comment, all of those things. Like, I love and adore each and every single one of you. And I can't thank you enough for being here, because I'm all about talking about those things that many won't and don't candidly, as well as just sharing based on just life experiences. So thank you all again from Kizzy Unfiltered.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.